Hi guys, my name is Matthew Parker. I thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. A couple things that I want to share with you guys today is one is kind of an eye-opening learning experience that I had a couple months ago, and two is a passage out of a book that I'm currently reading that kind of reinforces my eye-opening experience. The first thing is, what am I called to do? It's something that I've wrestled with throughout my professional, personal career. Like, what is it, God, that you want me to do? Um, am I called for more than being a speech language pathologist in the Verndale School? Am I called for more, God? How? Like, let me know. The thing that was an eye-opening experience to me was what we're actually called, you and me, what we're actually called to do is to love and serve God with our whole heart. We get caught up too often waiting for God to give us signs. But what we should be doing is persevering in our love and our service of God continuously, nonstop. Because if you are able to maintain your faith and your trust in God, and you love Him and you make time for Him on a daily basis, and asking God for His love, asking God for His mercy, and allowing God to show you His love and His mercy, what you're called to do, like for your professional or your personal and your personal relationships or your professional career, God will reveal that to you as long as you're fully committed to loving and serving God with your whole heart, because that is what you're actually called to do. The passage out of the book that I want to share with you guys, this is the book that I'm currently reading, He Leadeth Me, by Walter J. Cizek. He was a Catholic priest during the beginnings of the Second World War. He was arrested and thrown into the Russian gulags, where he spent a long time. In fact, at one point, he was in solitary confinement for 5 years. The only time that he would get out of his room, his isolated room, was for 20 minutes to dump his waste bucket. And the other time that he'd be let out of his room is when they're interrogating him. But this is the passage that I think out of the book that I think fits nicely with what I'm believing is what we're called to do is to serve God, love God with our whole heart, and the rest will fall into place for us. He says, I'm going to make that bigger. He says, had I not even set the terms upon which the Holy Spirit was to intervene on my behalf, had I not expected him to prompt me to give an answer I had already predetermined was the answer I would give. When I failed to feel his prompting along the lines I expected, indeed, that I demanded, I was frustrated and disappointed. It was then I felt he had abandoned me, and I proceeded to try to do on my own what I had already determined was the thing that must be done. I had not really let myself open to the Spirit. I had, in fact, long ago decided what I expected to hear from the Spirit, and when I did not hear precisely that, I felt betrayed. Whatever else the Spirit might have been telling me at that hour, I could not hear. I was so intent on hearing only one message, the message I wanted to hear, that I was not really listening at all. And I think, guys, that's a good summary of what happens to us. It happens to me all the time, and I'm sure it's happening to you and will continue to happen. You have ideas made up in your mind of what you want, your will, and the mistake that we make is we try to change our will into God's will. But if we're truly loving and serving God with our whole heart, we'll let God's will become our will. And that's the message that I wanted to communicate with you guys today.